And welcome to the Week 4 Fantasy Football Pre-Show. I'm your host, Ben. With me, as always, and frozen is Matt. Matt, welcome to the non-frozen world.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So a lot to talk about today. Start off right away with New England and Kansas City. After the Tennessee and Steelers game was postponed, now they had a case with Cam Newton testing positive for the virus, and their game is being postponed to Monday night latest. I heard Tuesday, and I'm hearing Monday.
Yeah, Monday at 7:05 Eastern time. Obviously,
okay.
if there's a positive test tomorrow, obviously that's going to change.
Yeah, and we almost had a scare with the Saints today. So a lot of different leagues doing a lot of different things with this. What we're doing in most of our leagues is basically you just say a backup, and then the commissioner will put your backup in if that game doesn't go. But all signs are pointing to that game going. I'm not worried about it not going. I'm believing it will go. Matt, your thoughts?
I am worried about it not going. COVID has incubation period. There's easily someone that could come up positive tomorrow. So there was a positive test on the Chiefs side too that no one's talking about.
Yeah, Jordan Tamu, the practice squad quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they keep those guys in their own room, but still.
Yeah, apparently there's been no other positive tests, so they've only had the one. Right. Same with the Patriots, right? So they've been able to hold it to just one, which is great. But I'm confident they're going to play. If they don't, hopefully your league has something. I wouldn't go and sit any of the big name guys, and by big name guys, I mean Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Travis Kelce. Everybody else, if you don't have any type of an out, you have your James White going, yank him out. Sony Michel, yank him out. Just in case.
You forgot about Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, of course. You have to start him. And obviously Cam's out, so he would be the only must start. Like even Edelman isn't really must start with Hoyer at quarterback. So
no,
avoid them if you can, and hopefully your league has something where they can have a backup plan, as we've been doing in most of our leagues. Let's talk weather, Matt. Matt, the weatherman. What do you got for me today?
Everything looks good. Again, it's still a little bit early in the year to be too concerned about that. So you're either in domes or there's a little bit of light rain maybe in Tampa, but otherwise we look like we're going to be good today.
Exciting stuff, Matt. Thank you so much, as always, for the weather forecast. Moving on to Thursday night football. The Jets lose. Gase still not fired. Still not fired.
No.
And the dog is now 3-0 when it comes to picking winners on Thursday night football. I think that's the biggest story, is that the dog can't guess wrong on Thursday.
Oh, that's a smart dog, I guess you got there.
Yes, a very smart dog. The Jacksonville game, I remember somebody who follows the dog now, basically, said that every single person on the NFL Network picked Jacksonville to win, and the dog had Miami, and the dog came through. I can't remember when it was. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that would have been 2 weeks ago.
But yeah, 3-0 for the dog.
That game was a lot more high scoring than I think anybody thought it would be.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a low scoring game. That quarterback, Brett Ripien, made some really bad decisions. Like some of those passes, I'm just like, why are you making those throws? Like there's no reason to make that throw. And then Darnold, I thought he was gone after he got jammed on his shoulder, but came back and played. Looking forward to seeing Flacco. What?
They're saying Darnold is hurt anyway, so he might not play next week.
I mean, does it really matter?
No.
He's not a fantasy option, and he's basically just not anything.
Yeah. But yeah, indeed, very smart dog.
Is Hunter Renfrow gonna rinse today? I mean, hopefully after he lathers and washes, he's gonna rinse. I don't know what word that's gonna be. I thought it was rise when I first looked at it.
Yeah.
I think Hunter Renfrow was in for a lot of volume.
Yeah,
a lot of volume today.
So well, yeah, no Henry Rux, no Brian Edwards. Yeah.
Morning, boys, from Chad Coleman. Question 1: Ingram or Gesicki? That's going to be Gesicki for me.
I think I have Gesicki this week as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good matchup for Miami.
It is. Here we go. What do we think of Deebo today? Avoid him. Do not start Deebo Samuel. I know he's in the back but he's there to alert you not to start him. He's going to have a very limited role. If he has a big game, it would be off of a big play or something like that. I wouldn't start Deebo Samuel. I have him in a lot of leagues. He's on the bench today. Next week is when you start thinking about starting him. They're going to limit his snaps, and they're not overly interested in getting him out there.
Yeah, you want to see him roll for sure before you're going to start him. I mean, he's going to have a big role once they get up and running, but yeah, back from foot injury. Same with still no Jimmy G, etc.
Also a good point. So Thursday Night Football review, one of the players who had a really good game, Melvin Gordon. Time to sell high on Melvin Gordon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think too many people think he's that high because it was the Jets they were playing after all. But
the Jets' run defense isn't that bad, but
and he also broke one at the end of the game. Like, I mean, if someone just looks at the box score, they'd be like, "Yeah, he had a really good game." But if you watch the game itself, it's like, okay, yeah, he broke away a 40-something yard touchdown at the end of the game.
Yeah, because there's no way he was averaging 4 yards a carry. That's why I'm saying it's time to sell high on Melvin Gordon. Lindsey's going to be coming back, and he's going to lose snaps to him as well. So if you have Melvin Gordon, it is time to start looking at moving him. Another comment here from Chad Coleman. At Flex, that's Evan Ingram. I believe that's Anthony Miller or Naheem Hines.
You got to go Ingram.
Who's Chicago playing?
Indy.
I think you go Miller just because Ingram stinks. It's terrible.
I say Ingram, but I think Miller stinks.
Didn't he have a touchdown last game, or was that the game before?
I think he did have a touchdown, but he's
getting limited snaps. But maybe now with Foles, he'll be better. So I'll go with Miller there.
Maybe slightly, but he gets like one snap and one catch and one touchdown, maybe.
Fair enough. Anything else that stood out to you for Thursday Night Football?
Nice touchdown for Jerry Jeudy. He saved another interception from Brett Ripien.
Yeah, that's a really underthrown ball that he had to come back for. The run by Sam Darnold was the highlight for me because he went to slide and he's like, I can keep going. I'm not used to this. And he just like continued to be looking to slide the whole way until he's like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah, I don't know what Denver was doing.
Dr. J. Buenafe. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. How do we like Z Pascal today? Zach Pascal, wide receiver for the Colts. I mean, he's the next guy up there. After T.Y. Hilton, it's him.
Yeah. I mean,
it's more of a desperation flex play, but I don't see him being bad.
They're going to use Doyle and Cox as well, you got to think. And Phillip Rivers is the check down master, so Naheem Hines is going to play a factor.
Sure. I mean, like I said, it's not a great start. It's probably outside the top 40, but if you need in a PPR league a flex play and you've lost your players to the Pittsburgh COVID situation with Tennessee, or you don't have a backup plan for somebody like, I don't know, N'Keal Harry on Monday night, then Zach Pascal's a fine fill in there. And Chad Coleman does agree. Ingram does stink. Matt, crazy times at your place.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. It happens. Everyone's used to it. This is the Zoom society that we live in. I had a question for you since you had nobody else that stood out on Thursday night. Alan Lazard on IR. Is MVS startable?
He is startable in a pinch. I like him a lot better in standard than PPR leagues, for sure. I think Adams is going to play tomorrow.
Same.
Yeah, but I mean, he's kind of like he's a starter in a pinch if you lost people, kind of the same as Zach Pascal.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask you which one you like more, and I think this week I would probably go MVS just because he's more likely to be the number 2 guy, and that Falcons defense, man. They know how to give up touchdowns. They're very good at giving up touchdowns.
And they lost they lost their rookie corner last week to COVID. Another one of their corners is out this week. He went on IR. Yeah, Rodgers is going to be able to do what he needs.
We would love to see your bench. Now we have an amazing question here. How hard are you for Carson today from Derek Riel? I am quite hard for Chris Carson today. It's like with Carlos Hyde out, I mean, who else is there? Penny's not back yet. He's going to get all the touches. He's in for a big game.
DJ Dallas.
Yeah. No.
No, Carson.
I'm hard for Chris Carson today, Derek Riel.
Yes, that is that. Yeah, he's a really good play this week. Top 12.
Easy must start.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jameson Crowder. Big game on Thursday, unexpected. I did not think he was going to be that good. He wasn't 100% and still put up a good game. Where do you see him rest of the season, even though he has Adam Gase as his coach?
Yeah, that's another guy that just kind of came on later on in the game, though, too. Like, he had like 40 yards, I think, after 3 quarters or something around there. But he's PPR obviously much better. We know that.
He's over 100 though, so good standard there too.
But they were, I guess, chasing a little bit at that point. They came back, obviously. I would put him in about the wide receiver 30 to 35 range, I think, for Jameson in PPR.
Okay. I think it's pretty good rest of the season play. Again, in PPR, I have him on several teams, but he's more of a bye week fill-in. He's never going to be somebody you're excited to start. He's somebody that you start and just kind of plug him in. A couple more questions here. Who else is getting you hard this week? Nice. I like where this chat is going today. Thank you, Derek Riel, for coming in here and making this.
Dr. Jacob's specialist in that category, though.
So, Matt, who is getting you hard this week?
Oh, boy. That's a loaded question.
We're looking for men who play football who are getting you hard this week, Matt. Who are they?
Yeah, it's a weird one to ask here. I think Devontae Adams is going to have a huge game. I like Kenny Golladay, who's a little bit lower for you guys this week. I think that they're just going to have to throw to keep up with New Orleans.
Kenyon Drake is getting me hard this week. Really like Kenyon Drake. He's in both of my DFS lineups. I think he's going to have a really big week.
Yeah,
Matt, you really like Clyde Edwards-Helaire if he plays, but again, I mean, you're probably not as hard as on him now that the game is possibly going to be not played. So Drake for me.
It's kind of weird, like when you see the guys ranked as high as they are, just because Barkley and McCaffrey are out, so everybody kind of moves up 2 spots automatic right there.
So we have a very interesting question here from Mike. Who do you think you are? I am play of the weekend. Now I know what this is from. This is that bowler who's like, whoever you think you are, I am, and he does the double.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to reference that for fantasy football though. Like
somebody that
shove it in your face that he had a big game.
How about Joey Mixon? I think Joe Mixon's going to have a good day today. And
I don't. I'm not backing you on that one. I'll go with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, but everybody nobody's off of Josh Jacobs. A lot of people.
Yeah, but he's playing Buffalo. Buffalo's ranked pretty well against the run, so he's going to tell the defense, whoever you think you are, I am. I can run over anybody.
I've got him the highest of all 3 of us actually on our rankings. Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, by 1 spot.
Yeah, but Joe Mixon I heard about this, not in any of my leagues, but Joe Mixon was traded for Darrell Henderson straight up in a league this week.
That's insane.
Yeah, but people are off of Joe Mixon.
He doesn't look right. When I watched him run on Sunday, he looked like he was trying to avoid contact as much as possible. So not much to be excited about. James Robinson, Mike Davis, or Kareem Hunt from Chad Coleman. If this is PPR, I'm going Hunt. If it's standard, I'm going Robinson.
I'm going Robinson either format.
Mike Davis lost Russell Okung. Am I saying that properly, Matt?
Yep.
That's left tackle. So
yeah, Robinson for me on either format. It's closer on PPR with Hunt, but I'd go Robinson.
I just think that the Cowboys are going to go out, put up some points, and they're going to be chasing. We're going to see a lot of Kareem Hunt. But I'm a big Kareem Hunt guy, and you're not. So that's if it's half PPR, I'd probably still go Robinson though.
Yeah, I just like the workload Robinson's going to get. I think they're both fine options to me, but I would go Robinson there.
So we have some interesting comments coming in. We're going to jump right into our rankings fight as soon as we get through this. So Chad does say it's 0.5 PPR. So James Robinson is the answer. And Derek Ariel wants to know, does Christian Kirk get your motor running today? He absolutely does not.
No, not at all.
If he plays, I doubt he'll be 100%. And I know that Hopkins is going to play, and he might not be 100%. And Fitzgerald's there, and my man who's got me some money in my lineups last week, Andy Isabella, gets my motor running a little bit more than Christian Kirk this week. Yes, they're all playing Derek Riel, but they do not get our motors running. Thanks for the question. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe.
Like if Hopkins wasn't playing, then maybe Kirk does a little bit more for you. But
so we have an Instagram question, Matt. It is Myles Gaskin or Terry McLaurin, not PPR. Myles Gaskin, running back from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
That's your going with? Gaskin? Okay.
Yeah, I think is Marlon Humphrey not just going to follow McLaurin around? He has to. We've talked about this before with Washington. They have nobody else.
I mean, does it even matter? Do you think Haskins could hit him with a pass?
That's true. And they're going to be under pressure all day with that Ravens D.
So let's transition to Mr. Black's one and only ranking fight this week. Mr. Black has Terry McLaurin at number 10 against Baltimore. We both have him outside the top 20, average of 24. Matt, is it time to worry about Terry McLaurin because of his quarterback play?
Washington's also had really bad matchups for him to start off the year. They had like Philly week 1 with like Darius Slay. I think Arizona with Patrick Peterson week 2. I can't remember who they played last week.
Denzel Ward.
Yeah, and then they have Marlon Humphrey today. I'm not too concerned about him. I think because he's just the only option that he'll just eventually get his targets and catches. But I think Marlon Humphrey's good enough to shut him down. But once he starts playing a little bit worse quarterbacks, we'll be good to go.
Feels like everyone from a certain league is in here today. Destin Hall asks, fellas, GM of the Plowers here, Sony Michel, or I believe that's Zach Moss this week.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Zach Moss is active, Matt. You can confirm?
Yes, I believe. Let me double check, but I'm certain he is.
Yeah, I would go Zach Moss. Unless your league has something where, even still, I'd go Zach Moss. I'm not overly excited about Sony Michel. He had, 4 carries for 115 yards last week?
Yeah, 7, I think. But, yeah, the inactives haven't come in for Buffalo yet because they're the late game. But, yeah, you can make that decision.
Those are terrible options. You should have better players on your team, and you should be ashamed, especially if it's a 10-team league. All right, so Terry McLaurin, you're not worried about Terry McLaurin yet. You're going to be fine with Terry McLaurin. Is he a buy low candidate then in a trade for you?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I would be okay to buy him at this point. After this week, I think he's gonna have another not great game today. So, and if they end up with the quarterback switch, which you seem to suspect is on the horizon here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's all anybody talks about. Who the quarterback is going to be? That's the bigger question. Is it going to be Kyle Allen or is it going to be Alex Smith? So
I actually did see something today to that effect that it is Kyle Allen as next man up, which I'm very surprised.
Glad we can entertain you, Dr. J. Buenafe. I'm positive now that I'm nailing that name.
Yeah, Dr. J. Buenafe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so first player we're going to talk about here is Malcolm Brown. I have him ranked 26 against the Giants. I think that he's going to get some work. It's not just going to be the Henderson show. I think they're going to spell him. This is a committee. If you have Darrell Henderson and he has another big game today, you should really start selling him because it's eventually going to be just some ugly 3-headed monster that nobody wants anything to do with. But I do believe Malcolm Brown gets a lot of touches today in a blowout against the Giants. I mean, the 49ers' 4th practice squad was able to run all over them last week.
Are you frozen?
Nope, I'm not.
All right.
Just answering questions.
Yeah, okay, you're a lot higher on him than I am. I would.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Obviously, Henderson's the big guy for me in that squad. Malcolm Brown probably gets some limited action there, but he's not somebody I'm comfortable putting in my lineup.
Well, he was fine in week 1, and nothing's really changed since other than an injury scare.
Yeah, Darrell Henderson emerged quite a bit since then.
I think it's just been matchups, and it's just been kind of the hot hand, and that's all this offense is. And if Malcolm Brown has a big game this week, he'll be the hot hand next week. And if Cam Akers comes back and he has a good game, he'll be the hot hand that week. So I don't buy any of these running backs long-term, and if you have any of them, you need to sell them. But I do think that Malcolm Brown, because it's the Giants, this would be like if Dallas was playing the Giants, Tony Pollard would have some value. You'd be like, okay, Tony Pollard's probably going to get some carries here.
But not Dr. Starting him.
But Malcolm Brown's getting more touches than Tony Pollard would in this situation. Dr. Clutch is back. He's here earlier than he usually am, but he's not mad at it, probably because of all the hard talk that we've had. Without chirping my roster this time, Hayden Hurst or Evan Ingram. So is this PPR or is it doesn't matter. It's Hayden Hurst because Evan Ingram sucks. I guess that's chirping your roster, but we were saying Evan Ingram sucks before we knew he was on your roster, to be fair.
Yeah, I like Hurst better this week as well. I think that Monday Nighter's got everything to be a big high-scoring game there. The correct word is lost me.
I believe Dr. Jay Bonifay is interested in your drink.
Correct.
Oh, I never noticed it tells you how many people are watching this.
There you go.
Okay, Antonio Gibson, somebody that I'm much lower on than you guys are. But before that, we got a question. Do I take out Tyreek Hill this week, or do I hope they reschedule for this week? That is poorly worded. I think they play. Matt isn't as optimistic. And like I said, you can't take out Tyreek Hill. Like, what's your backup option if you don't have Tyreek Hill? Is it like Greg Ward? Are you really that excited for Greg Ward? Mike Venucio. I can't even speak. Matt, what's his name?
Mike Venucio.
Thank you. Latavius Murray rinsing or Greg Ward hammering. My goodness. I'm going to go with Greg Ward hammering over Latavius Murray rinsing. I like Greg Ward this week. I don't think there's anybody else there. I picked him up in a lot of leagues just to kind of take him away from somebody else who might need him. So in your flex, I like Greg Ward regardless of the PPR or standard. You just really can't predict what Latavius Murray's going to get, and he hasn't. Like, it could happen, but I'm going with Greg Ward. I see him having a more yardage than Latavius Murray.
That's close. I'd probably lean Murray in a standard anyway. I think that New England's going to put up quite a few points, and he does get his touches there.
It is PPR, Matt.
Then I guess Ward.
Ward is the answer.
Don't like it, though.
Well, I mean, would you like it if it was Latavius Murray?
No.
No Tyreek Hill equals one of the many from Dr. Clutch, J.K. Dobbins, Adrian Peterson, Rex Burkhead, Marvin Jones Jr. Well, you can't go with N'Keal Harry. Greg Ward, T. Higgins. Right now I have Higgins. So Greg Ward would be the start for me. Yeah. I do believe Dr. Clutch plays standard, so Adrian Peterson might be a better option. But I wouldn't want to take any of those. Like, I'd rather just get what Tyreek Hill is going to give me. If it's a 0, I'm not. What?
My connection's really bad because you're freezing a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well.
Right now,
can you
okay.
see?
Yeah, I can read it. I would go, if I'm not going Tyreek Hill, I'm going probably Peterson. If it's standard, I think it is standard.
It is standard. It's Dr. Clutch. He plays standard.
Yeah, I'd go Peterson, I think. I don't know who you said.
I said Peterson because it was standard, but if it was PPR any sort, I would go Greg Ward. Definitely not T. Higgins.
Yeah, but anyhow, it's you're not benching Tyreek anyway.
Okay, so let's talk about Antonio Gibson. I have him ranked 31st. Matt, you have him just outside the top 20 as your camera goes blurry and starts freezing and yada, yada, yada. Matt, if you're still there, what do you like so much about Antonio Gibson against Baltimore this week?
I missed a lot of your question due to freezing and whatever, but the gist was, what do you like about Antonio Gibson? Is that right?
Against Baltimore this week.
Volume. He's a pass catcher. I think he's going to be probably about 4 or 5 catches anyway. So that's going to get you 4 or 5 points right off the hop. Yardage. I mean, he's certainly a better option than Malcolm Brown to me.
I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think that the upside on Malcolm Brown versus I don't think there's a very high ceiling for Antonio Gibson. They're playing Baltimore. That's a tough team to run against. Clyde Edwards-Helaire couldn't find any room on Monday night. So
yeah, they pass.
Pardon?
They'll pass it to him.
Okay. But still don't see that much. Like, people are high on Antonio Gibson, but he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't shown that he's going to be the guy, and they haven't made him the guy. And Rivera likes to use a committee, so I don't see him ever being that high up. So Dr. Clutch says he's going to keep Hill in. Good call. Dr. J. Buenafé says, how many TDs for Rusty Wilson this week? I will say 3.
I'll say 4.
Wow. Okay.
It's Miami.
Yeah, I just think they're going to run. That's why it was so hard for Chris Carson. Jefferson, Cook, Allen, or Green. Need 2 of 4. Stick with Allen and Green as I have now, or think Jefferson or Cook might be a good option. Is that Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Jared Cook's out.
Jared Cook's out. And there's no way. I'm guessing that's AJ Green.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be Keenan Allen, right? So Keenan Allen for sure. I would take Dalvin Cook over everybody else.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's got to be Jared. I don't think Dalvin would be in that mix.
It says, sorry, Kirk. So stick with Green and Keenan for me.
Yeah, me too.
Somebody's asking if Britt is playing Fortnite. Dr. J. Buenafé.
Not at the moment. I can hear ourselves in another room.
This is not a personal chat, Dr. J. Buenafé. If you would like to speak to Matt, you can text him. But thanks for the comment. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hurst at Green Bay or Schultz versus Cleveland. That's going to be Hurst at Green Bay for me.
Me too.
A lot of hype about Schultz, but I'm like, what did he do last week? He had one week, so.
Oh, he had like 50 yards last week or something.
Yeah, and that's probably what he'll do this week. But Hurst is the better bet. Okay, let's talk Jeff Wilson Jr., Matt. You don't care for him this week. You have him outside of the top 30. McKinnon is playing, so you're not sold that he's going to get the majority of the carries?
I think McKinnon's going to get the carries.
Who got more carries last week?
You must have the answer there. I'm assuming it's Jeff Wilson since you're asking.
I don't. I was hoping you knew off the top of your head. You're supposed to be a fantasy football.
I'm sure he led the touches, McKinnon.
So it looks like we have 15 touches for Wilson.
Yeah, McKinnon had more than that.
That was 12 rushes. And it's going to be 17 for McKinnon. So very close. But yeah, so McKinnon being in lowers the value of Jeff Wilson to you. Still a borderline flex option in a standard league. Someone who I don't think is a borderline flex option, and he should just be sitting on your bench right now, is Mark Ingram. I have him outside the top 35. I have him at 38, again, against Washington. Matt, you and Mr. Black have him at about an average of 26. What is it about what you've seen from Mark Ingram and this awful running back by committee that makes you think, hey, let's keep plugging Mark Ingram into the lineup?
Well, I mean, I have him 28, so in most 2 running back sets, he's not starting.
Standard flex.
But in flex, yeah, I mean, he isn't getting the volume, you're right. I mean, I think I saw that he's second on even the snaps out of that running back backfield. But, I mean, they're playing Washington. I think that's going to be a blowout. I think they'll be running a lot.
I don't disagree with that, but I mean, it could be Gus Edwards.
It could be.
Who knows who's going to get him, right?
Could be Lamar Jackson.
So we'll talk about somebody that you're a little bit lower on, and that's DeAndre Swift, who you have at 31. Mr. Black following suit with him at 34, but I have him all the way at 42. I mean, what do you have? 1 reception last week? He's really like, that's not a good situation.
No, it's something you're not wanting to start unless you absolutely have to, for sure. He is definitely well ahead of Kerryon Johnson. Like, I think Kerryon's completely out of that mix.
Yeah, I think he's basically the pass catching back.
Yeah. So, I mean, in PPR, he might come in. And again, I think that's going to be a high-scoring game, so I think they're going to use him relatively close to Peterson. Like, I don't know.
But I'm sure we thought that last week against Arizona, and it wasn't the case. They barely used him. They used a lot of Peterson. Yeah. So we got a couple questions here. Can't wait to see what Big Dick Nick Foles can do against Indy today. Bear down. That's what that is, Matt. That's bear down. So the worst 3-0 team in the history of the NFL, the Chicago Bears, looking to go 4-0 against Indy, and they definitely can do it.
Yep.
Dr. J. Buenafé, what games are you most looking forward to this week?
Are we talking like for real or for fantasy? Because for real, it's KC New England, if that happens.
I think everyone's looking forward to that game happening, if it does happen.
I mean, Falcons-Packers is going to be really high-scoring and entertaining. It should be. I'm a little bit biased, but I think that's true.
Yeah, I mean, Saints-Lions that you just mentioned should be a pretty good game.
Dallas, Cleveland.
Oh yeah, Dallas, Cleveland. I'm looking forward to seeing what Odell can do there because come out that Jarvis isn't 100% since the hip surgery they had this offseason, and they're going to be trailing. So expect Baker to start bombing it out, and I'm thinking Beckham has a big game. Is it bad that I'm kind of considering Adrian Peterson over Antonio Gibson? It's not that bad.
Not bad, no. I would still run Gibson, but I don't think they're that far apart.
No, I don't think they're that far apart either. It's just weird that a Bears fan is considering a Lions player who used to play for the Vikings over somebody else. But again, you do you, Dr. Clutch. Let's talk DK Metcalf. You think he's good? I don't think he's very good.
I mean, if he doesn't fumble the ball going into the end zone, I think he's pretty good.
Fast. How are teams not figuring out that he's fast? And you have to have help to cover him when he goes deep, or you have to get to Russ. And you're not going to get to Russ. So you're going to have help on him.
Yeah, that's going to be a high-scoring game. That's why I like DK a lot this week.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that you're actually surprisingly low on him. I
am in the same spot that you have Lockett, though. That's the thing. We're like,
yeah, that's right.
I think it's Lockett game, and you think it's Metcalf game.
Last week was Lockett game. They rotate.
So, question from Adam Sefton. Question for Ben. If Matty Ice played in the NFL, which player would he try / be able to emulate? Wow.
I think the answer there for me is BJ Raji.
I think that I'm going to go with Ndamukong Suh because of all the dirty play.
Wow.
I have no idea. I actually think BJ Raji's pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
It's a pretty good comparison. All right, you got a question from Mike here. Whose ranch is going to grow bigger this week, Aaron Rodgers or Russ Wilson? I think they're both going to grow real big this week. I mean, like it's going to be like, it's really neck and neck here on who's going to be in. I'll go with Aaron Rodgers because I think that, as you remember, I was super hard for Chris Carson. So I'll go Aaron Rodgers. I think they're going to have to pass more against the Falcons, who will score points, whereas the Dolphins won't score that many points. So they won't need to be passing it out.
Aaron Rodgers was also your preseason MVP pick.
Still is my MVP pick. Unlike you, I'm not wavering on that. You picked Patrick Mahomes, and now you're saying it's Russ Wilson. Do you think Dustin Holland says, do you think Devontae Adams is suiting up tomorrow? We do.
Yeah, he practiced all week. It was limited, but he practiced all week. I think he'll.
And he was basically a game time decision on last game, right? They're giving him
They even said on their telecast there, Collinsworth said that they were watching him in the pregame, and they said, well, we think he's going to play. And then they were kind of surprised he was out.
Matt, why do you like Brandon Cooks this week? Have him as number 32 going against Minnesota. Explain yourself.
Big playability against that defense. I mean, it's going to be him or Fuller.
That should be a high-scoring game, actually.
Yeah. Like he's borderline flex, I guess. I just think that defense is so susceptible to big plays that one of those guys is going to go off, maybe both of them.
I do have Will Fuller in one of my DFS lineups, so
me too.
And Will Fuller was more expensive than a lot of good wide receivers, and I still forced him in there. Oh, Marquise Brown was actually more expensive than a lot of the guys. Speaking of Marquise Brown, I'm way down on him just because in a regular fantasy format where you need consistent points, and after he really killed me in the bet against you, after like Godwin did nothing, and he still lost because he did absolutely nothing.
Godwin got a touchdown in 60 yards. Like, that's not nothing.
Wow, for him, it's nothing. But yeah, Marquise Brown, huge disappointment. I can't remember what the other bet was. Oh, it was the tight end when I won Jonnu Smith over Evan Ingram. So undefeated in Sunday bets, but not ones that go into Monday. So I've learned my lesson.
I have to stop betting on Evan Ingram.
I loved the Judy pick. Oh, you're welcome. I chose to start him this week. Nice. Hopefully you start him in the wide receiver spot because you had mentioned you were going to start him in the flex. Can't be starting people in the flex on Thursday. Look what happened with the situation with the Patriots, right? Now you have Tyreek Hill who you could flex out. If you had put him in the flex, you'd be stuck picking a wide receiver for that. So that's intermediate advice right there. Marquise Brown, you have him inside the top 25, as does Mr. Black. I have him outside the top 30. I mean, I think this is going to be a good matchup for him, but so was last week, and he did nothing. So I don't want him on my team, but I want him in my DFS lineup. every week.
Lamar just didn't look good on Monday. Maybe is it really something? Is it a thing that Lamar Jackson just isn't good in big time games? Like, is that a thing?
I don't think so.
Like, he's bad in playoffs and was bad in that.
He wasn't bad in the playoffs though. Against Tennessee, he had a huge game.
Oh, because they're chasing it.
Yeah, but again, that's on the defense more than it is on him.
Yeah, he just looked really bad on Monday, I thought.
Yeah, you still like Marvin Jones, even though Galladay's back. You have him just outside the top 30.
Again, high-scoring game. That's my pick for that game.
Okay, I'm guessing the same thing about the New England KC game if it does happen for N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, I guess I should have probably.
You have him at 34, so one spot ahead of Justin Jefferson.
I missed that update with Cam going out too. That was one person I forgot to update. So I would move him down a little bit with Cam being out.
So we have Dark Clutch saying, I'm so mad I lost Saquon and Sutton to injuries. I probably wouldn't be 3-0. Hey, man, it happens. Like, some years you just can't win. Like, injuries just take you out of it. I know Matt and I, we've had teams that we come home that were just like, this team's going to win. How can we lose at this team? And then injury, and like, how can we win with this team? So it happens. Let's talk about Justin Jefferson, who had a big game last week. You believe, at least within 3 wide receiver sets, you have him in the top 35. Mr. Black and I have him well outside the top 45 on average. You're a believer in this.
A little bit. Again, I'm not like rushing him to the front of the line or anything like that, but I think that's going to be, like we just said, high-scoring game. Houston's defense isn't that great. He out-targeted Thielen last week, I believe. So, again, as much as I don't like Kirk Cousins, I think he looks his way. I mean, in a pinch, you'd start him, not rushing out to start him at all.
So now I would admit that I didn't watch that game. I saw the plays, and I was like, what cornerback is he burning that way? And I looked it up, and it was Joseph. And I'm like, that can't be the same Joseph that used to play for the can't remember who it was.
Bengals?
No, I thought it was the Texans, the guy who used to play. Anyways, it's Jonathan Joseph, a 36-year-old cornerback is who he was up against last week, and that's who he was burning. First of all, a 36-year-old cornerback is unheard of. The fact that he hasn't moved to safety, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, Tramon Williams did well last year as a 35-year-old corner.
In what, nickel packages?
Yeah, well, you're still decent.
Anyways, that's why I'm a little skeptical of Justin Jefferson, because I saw who he burnt. Again, I didn't watch the whole game. I think he's got great hands, but I think he struggles to get open. And I think going up against a 36-year-old cornerback going to make anybody who's 22, 23 years old get open easily. Mecole Hardman, I have him inside the top 36. Matt, you have Sammy Watkins inside the top 36. So we're fighting here. You like Watkins over Mecole Hardman? Why?
He just gets the targets compared to Mecole Hardman just gets the deep ball. But I couldn't believe how much that he was going to Sammy Watkins on Monday night there. Again, not rushing to start either one of these players either, as Sammy's 36. But
yep.
If I had to start one, I would definitely go Sammy just for the targets alone. PPR. In standard, maybe that'd be a lot closer.
Fair enough. So we talked about Brandon Cooks earlier. I have Will Fuller lower than you do. But again, that's a high-scoring game where Will Fuller is in my DFS lineup, so I'm open for that high upside. But that floor just isn't there, right? So if you're starting a lineup that has Will Fuller or Brandon Cooks or Marquise Brown, you could get blown out. Like, you could easily just lose because those guys don't do anything. So they're in regular week to week. You want to have some type of floor for your players. Somebody who doesn't have a floor, even though he scored a touchdown last week, is Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. But DFS, I mean, you're going for the high upside. That's why we both have Will Fuller there. Like, you go for the gusto. You don't go for the guys that have high floors.
You're not trying to just cash. You're trying to win it all.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk, Matt, you have him as high as 38. Mr. Black has him at 43. What is it about his one running touchdown and Debo coming back that makes you think this guy is even worth thinking about as a starting wide receiver?
Well, again, 38 isn't really starting, but Debo, we both agreed he's not going to play a huge role today.
He should still take away some targets from Ayuk. So whatever you thought Ayuk was going to be, and he hasn't done anything, backup quarterback, and it's just not somebody to consider in your starting lineup.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, 38, you're typically not playing there, but I mean, I think he'll be okay. But his floor is, yeah, you said doesn't have a good floor. But 38 isn't a starting player.
Got a question from Mike. PPR COVID tight end issue. Who do I start? Big Bob Tunyon from Green Bay, Evan Garbage Ingram, Austin Hooper, Logan Thomas, OJ Howard, or Drew Sample. I'm going to assume that all those are available on the waiver wire, and he's debating which one to pick up because he has either Jonnu Smith or, he's got to be Jonnu Smith, who's his starter. Oh, okay. It's not going to be OJ Howard.
It's Ingram for me.
It's probably going to be Ingram for me as well. We're going to start the show by saying how much he stinks, and then we're going to go to him in this spot. It's not Robert Tonyan. It's not Drew Sample. Austin Hooper hasn't looked like, and we predicted this, he was a part of that Falcons offense, which really targeted the tight end, but Cleveland likes to run multiple tight end sets. You saw Bryant get a touchdown, and Njoku has a touchdown this season. I don't know if Hooper does have a touchdown. He might, and I called that Jonnu is his starter. So he is looking for somebody on the waiver wire to add, and somebody's got sick of Ingram and dropped him. I'm just looking to see if I have anybody on that list that would be higher, and I don't.
No.
So yeah, it's Evan Ingram. It's so sad, but it's Evan Ingram.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's just sad. It's sad that we talk about how much he sucks, but you got to plug him and play him. And I don't know. They'll be chasing points today.
He's not terrible. He's just not living up to what he was supposed to be. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, he's not very good. In the Monday night game where I watched him, he looked awful. But hopefully he does a good game for you today there, Mike. So, Matt, you have any start-sit decisions that you want me to answer? Because I don't have any start-sit decisions. I'm good.
I had one. Mecole Hardman or N'Keal Harry in standard. It's Hardman, right?
I don't think so.
You like Harry over him?
I don't know. Who do I like? It's standard, right? Okay, so LFG is a swear word that we will not say on the show, Mike, but thank you. Big game from Ingram. Let's hope. Stroke my eagle. Do you guys think Jared Goff is going to FUQ this week?
He should have a good game. We don't like Jared Goff particularly, but that's a bad defense they're playing. It's also Darrell Henderson Day.
All right. Another interesting question here from Dr. J. Bonifay. Is Drew Brees going to light the candle this week? Who is he playing? Detroit?
Detroit.
No, I think he's okay. I think you need to. I mean, it's probably not going to be the brightest candle you've ever seen, but it's not going to be a dull candle either. It'll be good enough to light a normal sized room.
He'll be serviceable, I think, but no Michael Thomas, no Jared Cook. I mean, not that Jared Cook's a huge deal, but no Michael Thomas is definitely hurting his numbers here. He's just not really clicking with the other guys as well as he obviously did with Michael Thomas. But having said that, I still think he's a top 10 play. He's just not like top 5 that he used to be.
Yeah, and it is Mecole Hardman for me on your question, Matt, with the backup quarterback and everything.
That was my thought.
Okay, it looks like you're getting some trash talk. Once again, Mike, this is not a private conversation for you to have with Matt here. I guess you're playing him in a league because I know we're playing each other in our Yahoo league, and I'm going to destroy you in that one as long as Kelsey plays. Because if Kelsey doesn't play, I don't have a backup tight end, and because of the way the league works, I'll get 0 points there.
You had Melvin Gordon as well, which really helped.
That helped, yes.
And I don't have James Conner, which really hurts.
Yeah. Did you figure out a trade, or did you need to make a trade? Or?
No, that's my flexes between Hardman and Harry. Now, if they didn't play either, then I would be just an empty spot.
Oh, so you were asking me who I should put in your lineup to beat me, and the answer was Mecole Hardman.
I've had Hardman because I need the big play.
Fair enough.
And then my other one was going to be risking my Kansas City players for Derek Carr and Debo, but now that Kansas City's playing, we're good. And that league changed course. That league said that they were not going to allow for the contingency plan, and then this morning the commission said he changed his mind.
It looks like in our league of record, you're the only one who has a contingency plan in place, and people were complaining about it. I don't know why. But anyways, let's go on to the fastest growing game in fantasy football history, and that is the Sunday Showdown. Matt, I let you win again last week. Congratulations.
Thank you. So that is a 3-0.
That is 3-0 for you, my friend.
Nice. Oh, what's going on?
Okay. How's it looking?
It's big enough. I can see it. Perfect.
We have a question from Dr. Clutch before you get into it. Other league, David Montgomery or Clyde Edwards-Helaire standard? It's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, that's not close. Montgomery's not a bad start, but I mean, he's not Clyde Edwards-Helaire unless you might not have that. Like hopefully there's a contingency plan, and you can say if that game doesn't happen, you can have Montgomery. But I don't know. We have.
I'd go Clyde.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said I would go Clyde. I was just echoing your thoughts there. I don't think it, like I like Montgomery this week. I think I have him top 15 or so, but Clyde's is like top 6. So
if you don't have a contingency plan where if that game doesn't happen, you get a 0, would you consider Montgomery at all?
If you can't play him,
you won't know, right? So it's
a 3 o'clock. It's a late start, at least the Montgomery start.
That doesn't change anything. You
not
still
really.
got to make a decision before like Monday or Tuesday. So
yeah, I think if you absolutely need the win, I would keep Clyde in. If you can survive a loss, then I'd go Montgomery.
All right, Dr. Clutch, take care. All right, Jen has a couple questions here. Okay, so I got 2 questions. I'm in a full PPR, Nick Chubb as my RB1 and Mike Davis in RB2. Do I start Mike Davis or Kareem Hunt? Also, should I start Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson and flex?
The second one is easy.
Cooper Kupp. The first one is interesting.
Yeah.
So
it is Hunt, but because do you really want both Cleveland backs?
So what you're doing there is you're lowering basically what your ceiling is for points, but I think you're increasing what your floor is for points because like one of them is going to be good, or they might be combined okay together, but you're guaranteeing yourself points. I like, Carolina plays Arizona.
Yeah.
I think you could go Mike Davis because I think it's a good enough matchup to go Mike Davis there because you have Chubb, but it's close.
It is, and like I said, I think the real answer is Hunt, but because I wouldn't want to start both running backs. I'm not really sure why you have both of them on your team, to be honest. But I would go Mike Davis as well, but they're close.
Thanks for the question, Jen. Make sure to like and subscribe. So it's that time of the show where the viewers are taking off. Jen, you're welcome. We are down to the single digits. And these are the people who came here for one thing and one thing only, and that's to see Matt's picks in the Sunday Showdown, because clearly he knows what he's doing and I do not. Would you like to go first, sir? Or would you want to just pick your whole team and then I'll pick my whole team? Maybe that'll work. Or do you want me to let me pick my whole team first?
I'll let you pick the first player. How's that?
That is absolutely fine by me.
There you go.
I will go with Greg Ward.
Hey, there you go.
Running back, wide receiver.
Okay. Okay. Give me
potato salad.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I think they changed this up. I'm gonna go Devonta Freeman.
Ooh.
I think he'll be the lead back of whatever there is there.
I agree.
And I will go. Give me Joe Mixon.
Oh.
You're gonna make it really easy so you don't have to pick a running back.
Perfect. Now I will pick a running back. If I get rid of my C's, then I'm good. All right. Get rid of my C's. You don't need to pick a quarterback or a C player. You're welcome. Wide receiver. It's probably the highest I have out of anybody.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like it.
Okay, so that's Tyler Boyd and Kirk Cousins is my picks. Matt, you are on the clock.
I will go with. Don't give me Drew Sample.
You took him last week. He got you 0.6 points. You don't want him again?
That's pretty well. He's part of a winning squad at least.
Look at that. 0.6 points.
What was the score? 97 to 66. Perfect. Anyway, okay, let's
look at week one. Week one was close.
Oh yeah. Okay, you're flipping around too much here. Okay, let's give me.
Still got 10 minutes before the game starts. So
all right, we got some time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care for any of these guys here. Let's go. I'll gamble a little bit. I'll go Will Fuller, and I'm going to go with, give him to me, and AJ Green. Loading up on that Bengals offense. Are you speaking? Because I can't hear you if you are.
I'm not saying a single word, Matt. I'm just picking a tight end so that you don't have to pick one.
Perfect.
And I'm going to go with. You know what? I'm going to go with a guy who I normally don't like, but because he's like the last man standing here, I'm going to take him. I did consider Hunter Renfrow there because I think he have a good game. Robbie Anderson has had a pretty good season so far. A little bit of a surprise. Don't think we thought he's going to be that good. Well, yeah, because he was on that question you asked me, the top 5 receiving leaders. He was the number 5 wide receiver if Kamara wasn't in the list.
Yeah.
And I did debate his name, but
I'm surprised you looked into that, actually.
I actually just saw something on Instagram where it showed the top 5 guys, and I was like, so I guess he was 6th.
Oh, all right, fair enough. Okay, let's go with you've got some good running backs to pick from yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and let's go with
I feel like this is my week.
Yeah, I think it is actually. I don't like my team so far. I'm gonna go with Dak. So I just think that is, even though I didn't need to take him there, but I will. And let's go with.
I mean, you just take there's nothing that I can take that you can't take. We're at that point where you just I can't take a wide receiver and I can't take a tight end, so you have to take one of those positions.
I'll just. I'm gonna go. He burned me a little bit last week. I'll go Darius Slayton.
I thought you meant Drew Sample.
You know what? I might end up with Drew Sample anyway.
You are going to end up with either him or Rob Gronkowski. Yeah. Or I guess Zach Ertz.
Yeah, it's not going to be Zach Ertz.
Okay, so this is going to be an easy pick here.
Yeah, that's a nice running backs there to pick from. Really.
And who is going to be this guy here? I mean, this is just the fantastic squad I have here. This is
probably the best one you've ever had.
Yeah, Ryan Sullivan highlights asks Dak or Lamar.
Dak.
I mean, you need to trade one of those though.
There's
no point in having both those players on your team. That's the best advice we can give you.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of like the same thing as the Russ and Mahomes last week. Yeah, I don't really like my squad this week. I'm going to be 100% honest here. I think you should win by quite a bit. Let's go. I'll go Gronk. I don't want another Bengal.
All right, and who would you like in my flex position from the B group?
Let's give you one of your favorite players in the world, Mr. Brandon Ayuk.
This is his week. I probably should. No, you know what? There's a lot of garbage in here.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted that tight ends, and I wanted Zeke, so. Ryan Sullivan highlights, which one should I trade once their bye week is up? You should first of all trade them before their bye week is up. because you're going to get a lot less value if you're trading a quarterback for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Like, just trade him now, and on the buy, you're just going to have to take a small hit by picking up a garbage quarterback. Whichever one gives you most in return is the one I would trade.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Whoever is giving you the higher value back.
Yeah, if somebody is a Cowboys fan, they want Dak, and they want offering a trade, and they'd rather have Dak, go that way. Somebody loves Lamar, go Lamar. Like, it doesn't matter who you're giving up. You just want to get max return. Matt, your flex is going to be coming from the A.
Yeah.
Well, you know he sucks. PK is going to win you this whole week by himself. That's what's going to happen here.
Your team does look a lot better than mine this week. I'll give you that.
Minus the flex spot. Well played. I think that's one of the things you do well is you do good job leaving yourself so that you don't get a bad flex. I think your flex has been A every week.
Yeah.
Oh, you had a B flex in week 1.
Yeah.
Whereas my flex has been C, B, B. I'm getting close to leaving an A for flex, but I get too caught up on picking my own players. Okay, so going over the teams, Matt.
All right. Team Ben is Kirk Cousins. I might enact my let's flip teams clause here.
Do you want to be 3-0, or do you want to be able to do that?
I'll just leave it. Kirk Cousins for Ben, Zeke, Austin Eckler. Wide receivers aren't great. Tyler Boyd, T.Y. Hilton, Greg Ward. Mark Andrews as a tight end, and a flex is Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, the wide receivers are weak.
Yeah.
Yours aren't much better.
But they're better. That's not that.
Without DK, like your 3B guys here versus these 3 guys. Boyd, Green, Hilton's probably the best one of all of them. Fuller and Slayton.
Big plays, upside.
Big play slays.
You know what? Slayton is because I think they're going to need to put up points and be chucking it.
Yeah, they did last week too, and they didn't do anything.
That's true.
The chances aren't very good.
Yeah. But quickly here, we'll go for my team is Dak, quarterback. So if I win, it might be off of his shoulders there. Joe Mixon is a good play. Devonta Freeman is just because it was a C group pick, and he could possibly do something. Anyway, Will Fuller, AJ Green, and Darius Slayton as wide receivers. Gronk is a terrible tight end, and pretty good flex in DK Metcalf.
Really good flex in DK Metcalf. the best wide receiver out of all the wide receivers we took.
Agreed.
But your team is very reliant on Devonta Freeman and Slayton, basically the Giants.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Whereas my team will be anchored by workhorses Zeke Elliott and Austin Eckler.
Yeah. So hopefully Dallas throws the ball into the end zone, not runs it.
And once they're done throwing it, they can run it into the end zone as many times as they want. Viewers are down, getting close to game time. Matt, any last words for week 4?
No, just let's hope for not a repeat next week with COVID activity. Hopefully Tennessee smartens up.
Yeah. There you have it. Matt calling out the Titans organization for not being responsible enough during a pandemic.
It's true. They are being investigated right now.
Really?
By NFL, yeah.
Whatever happened to the NFL investigating the Washington organization for all that garbage, for all that malarkey?
I don't know. Nothing.
Exactly.
Dan Snyder paid him off.
That's going to wrap it up for us. Enjoy the games today. We will see you back here next week. Same time, same people, same content. Stay hard.
Yeah. Thanks for all the comments today, everyone.
That's it.